Hiya, this is the second video of the collage papers series, and having shown you all the materials, I'm now going to show you how we go about creating some collage papers. One thing I didn't mention in the last video was that you can also mask, and here I've just got some masking paper, sticky paper, that I've stuck in a very random way over that piece of paper. I'm going to do that one first because this one will take a bit of time to dry and then I'll be able to peel it off hopefully. So I'm going to mix up. See, I've just got an old waxy plate here that I'm using to create my colours on because you don't want to ruin your lovely palettes. And I'm just mixing up some colour to my taste. I think I might put a bit of black in that to create nicer colour. So then we've got quite a nice dark turquoise, and I'm just going to paint that over in a rather random way. I might stick a bit more white in there just to ring the changes. As you can see, this sort of painting doesn't need any particular artistic flair apart from having an idea of what might look quite nice together. Not quite sure what's on camera, but anyway, I'm trying to mix paints and paint at the same time in a very rapid way so that you can see how some very quick effects can be made. Okay, that's probably enough there. We'll leave that to dry and we'll come back to that. Alright, now I'm going to show you what you can do with pens on top of this. I started off creating a bit pattern on top of that lovely orangey colour. That was the original colour that was on the piece of paper that was just left behind from a drawing I made. That was an Inktense pen stick that I've just managed to break. And here we've got an acrylic pen that works, as you can see, beautifully on top of acrylic paint. And of course I'm doing this very quickly, but you don't have to do anything beautifully, just thinking of different patterns in rather a random way. Might just want to make that a bit strident, and it's just all about experimenting. Hope you see that. If I had a bit more time, I probably would extend all these patterns and make a slightly bigger repeat, but I'm just showing you the sorts of things that you can do. And how nice it looks when you layer up one colour on top of another, particularly if they're complementary. All right, here's another one. Let's just put a bit of ink on here. Just using the pipette, create some random marks. It is about mark making essentially. And having to think very creatively on my feet at the moment. What else could we do? Well, we haven't scraped anything off, so let's put some paint on. this is the gold sitting on top of the turquoise. Probably a little bit too watery actually, but get some really nice effects from scraping. Here I'm just using my palette knife. Sometimes it's better just to wait a little bit longer. That's a little bit thin, that paint, to do that. So let's try something else. Let's use a little bit of card. Just dipping that card into the paint. Quite mean to do that. Card's not quite strong enough. It's actually just watercolour paper, not card. But that's just another effect you can do. So you can see I'm starting to create quite a lot of pattern on there, and it can be quite satisfying. If you find something that really works nicely, then yeah, do use it. I mean, I really like that area there. That's a nice random effect. Okay, let's try another technique, which is with bubble wrap. So again, I'm going to paint on top of this. Let's get a nice opaque light blue colour. See what we end up with when we press a bit of bubble wrap into it. And perhaps even use that as a secondary print there. Or a shadow print. And then you could go in afterwards and pick out some of those bubbles. Or you can leave it nice and subtle. And you can even layer up on top of that. Then we have oil pastels. See if we can do some resist. Colours are getting a bit muddy now, but that's just because I'm trying to do it in such a quick time. It didn't do quite what I expected it to do, but let's try and take some of that off. You can see there's just a little hint of that white coming through there, which is quite a nice effect. Again, you can paint into that or draw into that. That didn't work very well. Darker colour. and so on. And now I'm just going to see if my masking has worked. You're pulling off this tape. I should have ensured that tape was not too sticky. But hopefully that works quite well. Can't actually see where the tape is now. Oh, there we are. There we are. So already we're getting some quite nice patterns, and we've only just really scratched the surface of what you can do. I'll just try one or two more just so you can see a bit more white on. Keeping my paint all the time quite thick, not too oops. And find if you just dab with a stencil, it's more effective than painting over with a paintbrush or anything like that. Don't have to use the whole stencil, just create a bit of pattern there. And I've actually taken to making my own stencils. You can do them simply cutting out with a bit of plastic with a craft knife, or you can buy acetates as well, so let's give that a bit of a try. Let's change the colour slightly. Haven't I shown you dripping ink? I've sort of shown you that with my this is this very greasy paper. Not sure how that's going to dry, but quite interesting. And then another bit of we could make that drip down. Where's my toothbrush? And flick. Do a bit of flicking. See if it drips. For goodness sake, don't wear your best bib and tucker when you're doing this. It really does tend to get you into messy mode. Some of these papers you'll just think, oh, that's rubbish afterwards. I don't think I like the greasiness of that, so maybe that might make a nice print. Let's see. Well, it could be the start of something interesting. And you can always paint over it. That's the great thing. And then just lastly, as an idea, masking think I'm going to use the sponge with that. It's just a piece of computer paper I've cut a shape out of. The nice thing is it gives you some quite sharp edges. Ideally you'd let these dry between Now you can see actually one of the most random ones is probably one of the most successful ones. So just let yourself go. And I think that's, oh, what I haven't done is printed my leaf. But of course I've forgotten my roller, so what you can do is take your lino print, roller up some ink on top of it or some paint and imprint that onto the surface. Sadly, I haven't got all the raw materials here, but let me just show you what we've ended up with. Some quite interesting patterns, and you may or may not want to use them. You may want to keep developing pattern on top of them, but it's quite fun. Thank you. Bye.